My route to the Smithsonian was one of total serendipity. I guess you could say it was beginning when I was a kid, when someone gave me a book, which is a Roy Chapman Andrews, something to do with prehistoric mammals. I read it multiple times. And then my freshman year of high school, I took a summer archaeological course that was given by a French teacher named Peter Paul Pratt, and discovered during the summer that I really loved archaeology. I loved being out in the field. And I was lucky that he continued to include me. So this was a great experience. I didn't know that anthropology existed, but I certainly knew that archaeology existed. And then we sort of moved forward. I went to college, so I ended up going to Ithaca College in drama. And while there, I kind of got to know the guys over in the radio, TV, and film department. The film department was new, and discovered that, hey, I really liked equipment too. So this was kind of a happy match for me, although I was still a theater major. Then I was looking for a job and ended up becoming a secretary, as was one of the common job availabilities to young women when I graduated from college. So I began as a secretary at the American Film Institute. 16-millimeter prints, those are educational films, used to come floating in and out of the AFI offices all the time, and we young folks would put on screenings to watch as much of this as we could. And one day I was sitting there and I watched Jean Rouche's The Lion Hunters, and it was like a floodlight went off. And it was the most exciting discovery for me because I had no idea films like this existed. And that started my road into loving documentary film. Now I have to say I love all kinds of films. Silent film, it doesn't matter. I love all kinds. But documentary really took over. And then as fortune would have it, I took a 3-week seminar the summer of 1974 where I was a teaching assistant to John Marshall, who was one of the best known ethnographic filmmakers ever. And he also then introduced me to Timothy Ash, and they were both trying to help me find work in the Boston area because it was the time of economic decline. Jobs were hard to find. So I was thinking about moving up to Boston, but that didn't come through. But nonetheless, and what transpired then is I remember this sitting on a balcony at the Watergate Apartments with John Marshall, Tim Ash, and they're telling me about this new anthropological film archives that was being created at the Smithsonian Institution. And it was, I mean, it was like the sun. I mean, in my mind, my visual memory, the sun was setting. We all had like a drink in our hands, and they're telling me this, and they're saying, and you're an archivist, you have this archival experience. We would like to recommend you. And I'm sitting there thinking, is this a dream come true or what? And that's what happened. John wrote just an elegant letter of introduction for me to the then director, E. Richard Sorensen. And all I can say is that John saw something in me that I didn't know existed. And I got the job. I mean, that's the simplification part of it. My serendipitous path to becoming a film archivist is not one that anyone would take nowadays because it was basically apprenticeship training. Nowadays, there are actually courses, university courses, or whole programs devoted to media archiving, and as well as a lot of library and archives graduate programs also include media archiving in their graduate studies. So there are many different ways, and also people come to it through filmmaking or film courses or film degrees from universities. So there are multiple paths now to working with moving image archiving.